Shadow Camerupt, going to be investing that Protect Shield, looking for the full Incinerate farm. That the opponent gets the boost, but it's simply too little too late. The opponent sends out Dusknoir, Camerupt at 100 energy, and for the first time in GBL history, able to double up. First Scorching Sands forces the Protect Shield, and the second one going to land for massive damage. What is up, YouTube? Or should I say, welcome back to the channel. It has been 55 days since I last uploaded, but today we are back at it. And there is a good reason for that, as I look to showcase the greatest team to ever enter the Go Battle League with a fun new twist. The first thing we need to do is give a massive shout out to my good friend, the team's creator, my former factions teammate, the one, the only, No Bonfire Ahead. He first used this team, I think it was like in season 16 or something. We showcased it on the channel, and since then it has spread like wildfire. It's been featured on Jonker's channel, it's been featured on Henry's channel, but let's not kid ourselves. No one plays a team better than No Bomber Head. If I'm going to be arrogant, probably me either. I've used this team every single season, I pretty much know it inside out. Typhlosion's been benched, and the reason for that is because Camerupt, another Pokemon with access to Incinerate, got not one but two buffs this season, gaining not one but two moves that only cost 50 energy. And that means for Camerupt, for the first time ever, it's able to double up on charge moves. Camerupt's teammates are also looking pretty hot this season. The team say swap. The channel mascot Drapion has one single weakness, and that is to ground. And thank fuck they finally nerfed the very annoying move of Mud Slap, meaning Drapion is going to be even better than ever. Chesnaught also has access to low kick that got buffed, becoming a clone of the quick move, quick attack. Clone of the quick move, quick attack. That's a mouthful, but it basically means that it can now operate more as a fighting type attacker. I'm opting for Thunder Punch. Is that intentional? Kind of. I just haven't really got too many TMs. I couldn't really bother to mess around. Give me Thunder Punch. We're going to rock with that. As always, the intro has gone on for far too long. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we are not off to the best start. Would you have it any other way? You might be asking, have I been playing Go Battle League recently? No, not particularly. Have I been playing Pogo in general? Again, not really, so we might be somewhat rusty. Is this going to be an entire video of me pretending that I'm not washed up and looking to make excuses now? We all know I'm a potato, but we say Drapion, go quickly, and we're able to force ourselves shield advantage here in the mid-game matchup. The opponent baits like an absolute moron. We're not falling for any of that. I had no intention of shielding. We take our shield advantage, send back out Chesnaught, the opponent gives up the switch, and it's now Camerupt's time to shine. Camerupt should be very advantageous into Weezing. Worst case, it's going to be a brutal swing. That's the only way they can hit for neutral. Well, I guess they could Hyper Beam me, but they didn't have the energy. But both their nuke moves of Play Rough and Overheat respectively would be resisted. The opponent throws an alignment, open up the door for us to get the full Incinerate farm down. The Bear Trap re-enters the arena. The first Scorching Sands forces the Protect Shield, and oh baby, the second one's locked and loaded. Get that Bear Trap off my screen. There's the first big boom of what should be plenty more to come. Out comes Dusclops. Chesnaught with that shield advantage, going to shield the Ice Punch. The opponent does not bait, much to my approval. One Vine Whip, or actually it's a low kick, I should say, because we're not even on Vine Whip now. Fuck, I'm going to get confused today. But this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. Dusclops hits like a wet noodle. Ice Punch simply doesn't get the job done. We reach one final Frenzy Plant, and that is going to be all she wrote with Jamie Finn off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, yet another lost lead. What is going on here? What the hell is that on my screen? ABA Flyers with Cypher and Air/Skarmory. I guess this is what happens when you miss pretty much the entire season and you're in kind of these mad middle ranks where you don't really know what the heck's going on. It is the Wild West out here. The thing is with Air/Skarmory, it is very slow, it is very clunky, and I am definitely going to look to realign my Pokemon. Go Battle League, not that complicated sometimes. We flip alignment, Chesnaught now finds itself on Marowak, and Cypher now finds itself on Camerupt, and this game is already over. The super spammy Scorpion able to force both Protect Shields. The opponent pivots into Cypher, hoping it's going to be ABA good into my team. And nah, trainer, it is not. Holy moly. Two Incinerates do almost all of their HP. Camerupt, thank you very much for your contribution. Chesnaught will carry us home. We get the resisted low kick farm down, back out. Comes Marowak. Marowak going to be straight in and straight out. And that is going to be another very quick dub. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, the lost leads continue. We say switch into Drapion, and this time we managed to bait out Annihilate. Interesting, this one still opting for counter as opposed to low kick. I've personally tried it with low kick in the Ultra League, and let me tell you, the thing is fucking phenomenal. It is so spammy. However, what you do notice on low kick is you really don't offer that much fast move pressure. Unlike the counter variant, you can see here, fully counters my Drapion all the way down. My Drapion's a rank 1 as well, so as bulky as it physically can be. I find myself in an absolutely dire situation. I'm going to hope that Camerupt with 2 shields can sweep the team. The opponent sends out Jellicent and things that really aren't looking great. We are double weak to water. Even the Hex are doing crazy damage. Camerupt is one very glassy boy. I think a lot of people in my position here would throw the Rock Tomb, anticipating the shield, but I force him the Scorching Sand, which is able to land. And hold up, this game isn't quite over. Jamie Finn, in real fighting chance with best protection, block up the surf. The opponent worried they're going to get farmed down, send back out Marowak. Again, no baits on this channel. Scorching Sands forced to protect shield. We pause, make the catch, back onto Chesnaught. Holy crap, man, this is like vintage 2021 Jamie Finn. Back out comes Camerupt. Camerupt is going to get his big boom. The question now becomes, can we Incinerate farm them down before they Hex farm me down? No, unfortunately we cannot. We made it kind of close. GG's to that opponent. I think we're like 3 or 4, maybe 5 battles in, and every single bloody time we have lost lead. However, Drapion putting in so much work, and that trait looks to continue. Worst case scenario here, Drapion will force a shield here in the mid-game matchup, or able to flip switch. To be honest, I'd probably rather shield advantage, and that is exactly what we get. We're now going to see a scenario where Chesnaught having access to low kick is going to be advantageous. We're going to be able to farm down, leaving with a Thunder Punch. I asked in the intro, is that the correct move? Well, in this matchup, it's certainly going to help out. I actually leave just shy of the Thunder Punch. I bank my energy and make the pivot into Camerupt, baiting out Licky far too thicky. I fire off the Scorching Sands, forcing the Protect Shield. I've got 2. I could shield this up. You know what would be even funnier? When I'm about to shout, Chesnaught is a Charizard counter confirmed. I can see the wink on. I'm thinking, oh baby, it is boomer clock time. Chesnaught re-enters the arena. The opponent probably thinks they have won the battle, but this Chesnaught has that party trick of that Thunder Punch coverage. Frenzy Plant removes Licky far too thicky from the field of play. I fire off the Thunder Punch. Oh crap, that actually doesn't quite one-shot, but somehow we're able to low kick farm down, and I win by the skin of my teeth, heading into the next battle. Chesnaught to this point in the video has been an absolutely horrendous lead. However, in this matchup, we are ABA good into the opponent's team. We're of course going to absolutely annihilate Morpeko, and Dugong isn't an answer either. I'm able to force a shield advantage, and then I send out Drapion. To be honest, switch advantage means absolutely nothing to me. If the opponent thought Chesnaught into Morpeko was bad, wait till they see the mighty Fire Camel. Speaking of which, I think it's time to reveal it. Out comes the Camel. The Camel looks for the full Incinerate farm down, which I'm able to get. Leave with a charge move. The opponent sends back out Morpeko. Morpeko going to be greeted with the Scorching Sands. There is a very clean 1-hit KO. The opponent sends out Gorgeist. They don't want the smoke, and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see Annihilate in the lead position on Vine Whip, somewhat of a neutral matchup. When you're running low kick, that is double resisted by the Ghost type in, so I opt to pivot into Drapion. Interestingly enough, my Drapion save switch is answered by Florges. Florges by no means a good answer for Drapion. The opponent went for the Trailblaze, looking to vamp up their attack, potentially thinking I was going to shield, which I did not. It's actually my opponent that gives up the first protection, and once again, I'm happy to take shield advantage here in the mid-game matchup. Shilling Water removes me from the field of play. I send back out Chesnaught, and the opponent aggressively sends back out Annihilate. I don't really shield the first Rage Fist. However, the issue I've got is I'm in danger of getting fast move beat down. I fire off the Frenzy Plant. You already know it's going to go shielded. People on Shadow Annihilate essentially shield everything. Camerupt enters the arena and going to be forced to do the heavy lifting. I'm going to shield the Rage Fist, fire off one Incinerate and the Rock Tomb. Of course, Rock Tomb is resisted. Both cost 50 energy and both moves will be lethal. Down goes Annihilate. The opponent sends out the Penguin. They try to make a catch attempt unsuccessful, and Camerupt is going to sweep the entire team. The opponent doesn't want to get boomed, one shot back to their Pokeball, and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see a pretty good match. I say pretty good because the opponent had the potential to one-shot me with a double super effective dual peck, but of course the low kicks are hitting the super effective. With that in mind, the opponent says no thank you, save switch into Clefable. Much to my surprise, actually running Charm. Drapion's already been able to force one Protect Shield here in the mid-game matchup. I fire off the next Aqua Tail, which the opponent recognises they can survive, but are left very, very deep in the red. I send out Camerupt. This can only be a Swift. Swift, not going to do too much damage, although you can see Camerupt essentially is absolutely paper thin, and every single charge move, or even resisted quick moves, that do tend to hurt. I'm actually kind of confused here, thinking, what's in the back? Why would you send the Penguin back out? I overfarm, fire off the Scorching Sands, removing them from the field of play, and out comes Altaria. You can tell I'm rusty. How did I not know it was going to be some basic bitch Empoleon plus Altaria core? I actually land the Rock Tomb, which I think is a mistake on my opponent's end. That's definitely the hardest hitting move left in the game. However, Chesnaught will carry me home. Thunder Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. I've actually just noticed this is a purified Altaria. So you know what? It's time to give the opponent that bad manners. Get that blasphemy off my screen, and Frenzy Plant is going to be all she wrote. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see another Empoleon in the lead position. This one is opting for Waterfall, that of course did get buffed this season. However, is objectively better for me, meaning they are hitting for resisted. The opponent force of protection, then send out Wormadam Trash, and Mr. Opponent, I am so sorry. These Incinerates are double super effective. And I was going to say we're a complete wall, but holy crap, man, that Bug Buzz did a lot. Back out comes a Steel Penguin. We fire off the Scorching Sands, able to sneak through 2 protections. The opponent looks to 2-shield Meta Chan to victory. The opponent gets a very nice Psycho Cut farm down. Chesnaught re-enters the arena with a bucketload of energy. I force them the first Frenzy Plant, forcing the first protection off my opponent. I've still got 1 shield, and I do want to protect this energy. I'm going to shield at the Ice Punch, look to overfarm, fire off the next Frenzy Plant. I'm actually going to outpace the next Ice Punch. So rather than lose my Chesnaught, we're going to look to make the catch onto our very spammy Scorpion. A non-stab Ice Punch doesn't tend to do much of anything. Drapion going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch won't be lethal, but will of course do objectively more than an Aqua Tail. Crunch leaves the opponent deep into the red health range. If the opponent can Dynamic Punch into a Psycho Cut farm down, this game could get close. The opponent gets the perfect farm down. However, Chesnaught able to just about outpace, actually throwing on CMP, winning CMP, and we're able to take a very close game. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, Chesnaught stares down Ferret. Interesting, this one is opting for Quick Attack as opposed to Sucker Punch. It's not anywhere near as bad a matchup as it would normally be. The opponent fires up the Brick Break, attempt to sneak an Incinerate onto my debuff defense, sending out their own Camerupt. Mr. Opponent, I salute you, the spice you love to see. Well, looking at the avatar, I should say Miss Opponent or Mrs. Opponent. It's rude to assume. However, Drapion, looking to realign, reaches 1 further Aqua Tail. The opponent going to look for that Incinerate farm down. Not going to happen. Drapion reaches yet another Aqua Tail. Double super effective, removing the Camel from the field of play. Back out comes Ferret. Ferret looks for the Quick Attack farm down. Drapion says no. It's absolutely popping off, reaching the Crunch, leaving Ferret on fractional HP. I send out Camerupt. I do invest a Protect Shield and also get a 1 Incinerate running start. I shielded there, fearful the opponent might have some fast move pressure in the back. They do not. They have an Electro, but blink and you might miss it. Electrode straight in and straight out, and I take that game. In the next battle, we see Shadow and Shadow Crime, the Quagman in the lead position. The opponent save switch into Ferret. I'm going to fire off the supposed superpower that I do not have to force a Protect Shield. I cannot believe the opponent didn't shield that. However, we still land some meaningful damage, meaning we should be able to keep alignment here in the mid-game matchup. You can see in the first half of this video, we lost a shit ton of leads, and now we're starting to win leads. So many people complain about the algorithm. You can see it does tend to balance itself out if you just stick with the same strategy and just stop bloody complaining. The Shadow Quagman re-enters the arena, is greeted with a Crunch. The opponent recognises they're going to be unable to Mudshot farm me down before my Aqua Tails reach, so opt to fire off their own Aqua Tail, remove me from the field of play. I'm going to send out Chesnaught. The opponent instantly pivots into their own Drapion, and their 2-shield scenario, this would be a very easy victory. I'm only going to invest 1 Protect Shield here, and I think if I was the opponent, I wouldn't shield Drapion, I'd put it all on the Quagman. So with that in mind, I undercharge this. And you might ask yourself, why would I do that? Well, the way I lose this battle is if the opponent reaches 3 charge moves, so I don't want to concede farm. Instead of conceding a shit ton of farm, I end up farming them down. I've already decided my win con is going to be the fast move beatdown, as they have still got 2 shields. We are going to shield up the incoming Aqua Tail. The opponent will reach a departing Aqua Tail. you're going to see it's going to do around half my rain of HP. So if I would have conceded that farm down in that mid-game matchup, I'd actually lose. But instead, we low-kick farm down and take that game. In the next battle, I see Halucha in the lead position. That also has access to low kick. A god-awful matchup for my Chesnaught. So we save switch into Drapion. Fire off the Aqua Tail, forcing a Protect Shield. I'm hoping I survive a Flying Press. Nope, I do not, despite having a rank 1 IVs. And again, we find ourselves in somewhat of a tricky situation. I fully wait out my clock, send out Camerupt. You can see these Incinerates melting through their HP. The opponent throws a very nice timing just before my charge move's reached. We shoot at the Flying Press. The opponent banks a Flying Press, send out Charizard and Trainer. That is a very interesting decision. We fire off the Rock Tomb. Charizard straight in and straight out. That is a huge boom. I'm looking top right and I see the Steel Penguin enter the arena. So I bank my energy, send out Chesnaught. You can see these low kicks tearing through their HP. Invest Protect Shield on the Drill Peck, over farm as much as I physically can. Fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch will move them from the field play, all forced to final protection. Opponent dumps their energy, and here we are in a very, very tricky spot. They are in 1 Incinerate range, however, I look to throw the Incinerate. The opponent could snipe me in the middle, actually anticipate them sniping. I wait a turn, try and win CMP. The opponent doesn't go for any fancy play. What can you do? You've got to try and somehow anticipate what the opponent does. I don't get the call right. But again, you can't win them all. In the next battle, we see a battle of grass types. Very much not in my favour. Venusaur claps Chesnaught. I say switch into Drapion, baiting out the ever-annoying snail Gastron. So far, it looks like RPS, not in my favour. Despite on paper being on the wrong side of an RPS matchup, Drapion, as always, puts in a hell of a lot of work. Able to force a protection and do massive damage to Gastron. I send out Chesnaught. Look to use it as a damage sponge and look to get some energy together. The opponent fire off a body slam. They reach 1 further body slam. Unfortunately, this is where I kind of missed Vine Whip. As I do force a protection, I've got so much energy. The opponent gives up switch, sending out Dunsparce, and they've just given me the alignment that I want. I'm not really sure why he'd fight so hard for switch and then immediately give it up. Not that I can, of course, complain. I'm very rusty. We're going to take all the wins we can get. For those of you wondering, I'm like rank 15 or 16 or something. I think I've got 98 wins out of 150 battles. The record probably suggests I'm doing better than I am. As you can see, some of my opponents running some right random stuff. Once again, you can see just how attack-weighted Camerupt is. Able to fully incinerate farm down Venusaur, as I'm able to take that game. In the next battle, we see Mantine in the lead position. Formerly an absolute meta staple, along with stuff like Pelipper, Gligar, which have all kind of come back, as well as Gliscor, one of my favourite Pokemon, all thanks to Wing Attack being reverted back to its former glory. Drapion going to do its best to fire off as many crunches as it physically can. You can see here, this is when my IVs do come in clutch. The opponent isn't able to fully fire without a force dump, yet further energy. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam, removing me from the field of play. Not entirely sure why he'd Ice Beam there. What the heck is the second move? Whatever it is, it should be cheaper than Ice Beam, but I'm not complaining, as I'm able to get a massive Incinerate farm down. I was talking about random moves earlier. This Grumpig is on Charge Beam. Please, please don't run that. It is terrible. Oh my god, that's a Victini. I'm so sorry, Mr. Opponent. The first Scorching Sands, forced to protect. The opponent is going to be able to outpace to whatever they want. I assume V-Create, but who knows with this opponent's crazy movesets. That is the V-Create right on cue. We've got the next Scorching Sands locked and loaded. Victini, sorry little buddy, return to your Pokeball, and I take that game. Heading into the final battle of today's video, we see Morpeko in the lead position, a beautiful lead but a very problematic save switch. Corviknight running Sand Attack. It's going to hit my back 2 Pokemon for super effective. With that in mind, I tried to fire the Thunder Punch, forcing Chippered action before sending out Camerupt. Unfortunately, it ends up being a CMP tie. The opponent spammed the first move. As soon as they got it, so with that in mind, I anticipate him doing the same again, and we're able to sneak a full Incinerate onto Camerupt. At this point, Camerupt can go for the one shield, full Incinerate farm down, and look to get itself off to the races. The opponent get the boost, but it's simply too little too late. The opponent sends out Dusknoir. This time, there is no baiting. We're at 100 energy. The first Scorching Sands forced to protect shield. The second one's locked and loaded. And Dusknoir is about to lose almost all its HP as the opponent finds himself deep in the red health. I send out Drapion to operate as the damage sponge. As on Hex, I was really hoping this was a Poltergeist. Unfortunately, it's just a Shadow Punch. The opponent pivots back out into Morpeko. I counter swap into Chesnaught outpace to the Frenzy Plant. That is a big fat one-hit KO. Dusknoir gets double resisted, low kick farm down, and I take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. Holy, not only am I rusty at battling, we're rusty at making content and shoutcasting too. Despite that, I'll be honest, I had quite a lot of fun doing so, and I look to try and return to a somewhat more regular schedule. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.